3 top ways to crush procrastination. Procrastination has prevented countless people from performing their best and achieving the most they can. Imagine how much more you could have done this year if you got back every single hour that you spent procrastinating. This is something many of us fall victim to, and it's something few people know how to overcome. Listen up then, and we'll take a look at some of the best ways to overcome procrastination. 1. Do the best task first. Tip number 1 is to work on a task that you enjoy and that isn't too daunting first. If you're about to start your working day and you have a large list of jobs to do, you may find it tricky to know which one to do the best. Starting with the easiest and most fun task actually makes a lot of sense. That's because this is the task you'll find it easiest to start. And once you've started, it becomes that much easier to carry on. 2. Leave something incomplete. That last tip might have struck you as being at odds with the most typical advice. It might even feel like cheating. If so, you may find this next one even more surprising. Try leaving a job incomplete. In other words, if you're working today, then when you get to the last job of the night, stop before you finish it completely. This goes against the typical urge to finish only when everything is done and we can tie a neat bow on it. But what this actually accomplishes is to make us feel a kind of anxiety when we begin work the next day. We hate leaving tasks unfinished, and therefore, you'll find that you feel a strong urge to leap straight into work when the day starts. It's surprisingly effective. 3. Practice. Finally, you need to practice. That means practicing staying focused and diving straight into work when you really don't want to. Many people don't realize that this kind of discipline is something you can train just like a muscle. You might find you take 20 minutes to get started on average right now, but if you keep fighting the good fight and keep trying to force yourself to work better, then you will find that reduces to 10 minutes and less as time goes on. So even when you do get distracted, it isn't time wasted. 5 top motivation tips you can learn from the Navy SEALs. When it comes to the most motivated individuals in the world, Navy SEALs have to be right up there at the top. Just think about the intense discipline it must take to go through Hell Week. 5 days and nights of training with just 4 hours of sleep total. So what can the rest of us learn from these superhumans? Here are 5 amazing tips. Eat the whole elephant. This rather odd phrase refers to approaching challenges by breaking them down into small parts. Rather than trying to survive the whole 5 days of Hell Week, a SEAL will focus on surviving each short evolution. Likewise, if you have a large job to do, try to break it into manageable chunks. Breathe. Navy SEALs are taught to take control of their nervous system through a process called arousal control. One of the main aspects of this involves using breath work in order to calm the heart rate and focus the mind. This is a highly effective strategy and one that everyone can benefit from. Visualization. When facing a grueling challenge, a Navy SEAL will visualize what they need to do before they do it. This process can be useful for mental rehearsal as well as improving confidence and drive. The key is not to simply focus on the positive outcome, but also the actual process of getting there. Self-talk. Navy SEALs use positive self-talk in order to encourage themselves when the going gets tough. This can help them to focus on the positive aspects of what they're doing and to remember why they're doing it. At the same time, they can use this as a way to build up their confidence and feel invincible. Try reminding yourself of the preparation and training you've done and of the victories you've won in the recent past. Get accustomed to hard work. Most of us live extremely comfortable lives, and we are thus not used to forcing ourselves to do things when things get hard. You need to change this pattern. Don't train or practice under perfect circumstances. Don't plan for perfect circumstances. Plan and prepare to need to complete your goals under the worst possible circumstances. Writing a book? Then practice writing with distractions. Be ready to write on days when you're extremely tired. Try writing ill. If you can do this, then nothing will stop you, just like a Navy SEAL. Do these 3 things for greater motivation. Struggling to summon the motivation and drive you need in order to get done? Finding yourself in a slump or a rut? In this presentation, we'll discuss 3 strategies you can use to gain motivation and drive and attack your goals. Make your bed every morning. This might sound strange, but making your bed every single morning without fail is something you can do to gain an instant increase in drive and motivation. How does this work? Firstly, when you make your bed, you'll make your environment tidier and cleaner. As a result, you'll find that it's that much easier to focus on the work you need to do without being distracted by your environment. At the same time, though, when you make your bed, you're forcing yourself to do something you probably don't want to do. This takes motivation and discipline. In other words, you're training your own ability to stay on task, which will in turn make it that much easier to do other things you need to do in the future. Create a motivation montage. All of us have scenes from movies, songs, quotes, and images that inspire us. These are things that somehow speak to us on a level that has a big impact on our emotions. What I'm going to suggest then is that you take these things and then edit them into an inspiring montage. Now, whenever you're feeling low on energy or motivation, whenever you're struggling to force yourself to do what needs to be done, you can refer to this compilation you've made and feel an immense sense of drive and motivation. Try yogic sleep. This is one that you likely won't have heard of, but it can be an immensely valuable tool in your arsenal. Essentially, we need to sleep in order to access our full motivation. Discipline and motivation take energy, and without sleep, you can't tap into that. If you're lacking sleep, then making yourself do important things will feel much harder. That's where yogic sleep comes in. This is a form of meditation that advocates claims can provide the same benefit as 2 hours of deep sleep in just 30 minutes. Whether this is true is up for debate, but it is certainly a powerful tool and one that you can use when you're low on recuperation. Give it a try and see what happens. How to build long-lasting motivation. There are countless tricks you can use to increase your motivation and discipline in the short term. These strategies work like a shot in the arm to jolt you awake and help you to stop procrastinating. But while these things might be useful hacks in the moment, they don't build lasting motivation and drive. There is only one thing that does: passion. Think about someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's one of the most motivated and disciplined people in the world. He used this discipline to travel to America, become the most successful bodybuilder in the world, to become the highest paid actor in the world, to build a multi-million-dollar business single-handedly, to learn English, to invest in properties, and to ultimately become governor of one of the biggest economies in the world. How? If you were to ask him, he would tell you that it all came down to having a clear vision and goal, to knowing exactly what he wanted to achieve in life. He said that every painful rep in the gym was worth it because it took him one step closer to winning Mr. Olympia. What do you feel that passionately about? Too many of us, on the other hand, will work toward goals when our hearts aren't really in them. How many people are writing books they have no interest in, or are creating businesses that they aren't passionate about? How many are working jobs they hate? How many are getting into shape because they were told to by their doctors? When you do the things you think you're meant to do, then you struggle to summon real motivation and discipline. Conversely, when you work towards something you love, when there's something so exciting that it causes you to leap out of bed in the morning, then you will do anything it takes to complete those goals. You need a life purpose and a vision. The problem is that many people don't have that, and so they end up floundering in a directionless manner. It would be easy for me to tell you right now to just get a vision, but it's really not that simple. If you really want to find a passion, then my advice is to pick any project that interests you to start with. This might not be your life's purpose, but find a goal you're interested in and work on it. This will help to give you similar focus and structure, and it will help you to further explore what really does make you come alive. Everyone should be building something. How to create a morning ritual for great success in life. What you do in the morning has a huge impact on the rest of the day. This is a little like the appetizer that will set your mood and that will set the tone for the day to come. If your morning starts with you leaping out of bed late and then rushing out the door, chances are you're going to feel exhausted and stressed. If your day starts with you knocking it out of the park, you'll feel confident and on top of the world. Listen up, and we'll go over a few steps that should feature in any morning ritual. Wake up at least 2 hours before you need to. The first tip is to wake up at least 2 hours before you need to. Too often, we'll wake up as late as possible for the day ahead, which accomplishes nothing other than to force us to rush out the door in a fluster. It's no surprise we end up looking scruffy and often forgetting important things that we need. Wake up 2 hours before you need to, and you can take it slow in order to really enjoy your day. Pandiculate. Not heard the term? Pandiculation is what cats and dogs do when they wake up from sleep. It's a kind of stretch that involves contracting the muscles and then lengthening them. This helps to reconnect the body to the sensory motor cortex, thereby giving you back full control over your body. This is why animals don't need to stretch or warm up before going for a run, and it's highly invigorating. Work out. Nearly every highly successful individual will tell you that they train and work out before they start their day. This is a valuable strategy for building immense energy and a sense of accomplishment, and of course, it will improve your health. Don't have time? Don't worry. Just 5 minutes of training is enough to have benefit and get the blood pumping. You can do your full workout later. Cold shower. Taking a cold shower will increase adrenaline and testosterone. It will help to wake you up via the mammalian splash reflex, and it will train your discipline and motivation. It's not pleasant, but that's kind of the point. Meditate. Just as many highly successful people say they train first thing in the morning, even more of them claim to meditate. You should too.